I feel like I've always known that direct action was a positive thing. And so when you see children not attending school, it's like forcing you to think about like what's wrong in this country to where children have to not go to school for an entire day just to prove something to us.
We will change! We will change! We want change! We want change!
The climate crisis is a ticking time bomb. We don't have a lot of time left. And so this girl named Greta Thunberg from Sweden decided to strike on a Friday, like skip school and strike for the climate. So when I heard people were striking, a friend of mine DM'd me on Instagram with this radical idea to do a strike on March 15th, and we decided to create US Youth Climate Strike. So how many St. Paul schools do we have?
We have one from Central. You have the list, right?
US Youth Climate Strike is a youth-led group that focuses on deep strikes across the country, as well as action and policy. Our goal with the strikes was to have people understand what was going on. So there was a point of education as well as a point of action. And so we wanted politicians to understand that the youth weren't going to stop until there was action.
What do we want? Climate action!
Students today went on strike for the climate.
On March 15th, the US Youth Climate Strike had 100,000 plus strikers across the country, 35 plus states, as well as over 150 organizers just in the United States alone.
I think it was really surreal being there and realizing that it just started off as an idea, and we got 1,000 plus people in Minnesota, and I know globally it was around like 1 million plus people, which is really amazing thinking about.
We want community! This is what community wants!
This was the first time I saw like all like middle school, high school, and college age kids like organizing and also like partaking in something pretty massive, not even just in where they were, but all over the world.
So all of these experiences taught me that it is important to make sure that those that are disproportionately affected by climate change be at the forefront of this issue.
Isra is really a part of this conversation that's shifting around climate organizing and the climate movement in general, and really contributing to elevating the voices of marginalized communities within this fight.
When you are talking about the climate crisis, you have to talk about who it mostly impacts. And so one, that is young people, two, that it's Black and brown people, especially Indigenous folks. And so the more that you talk about these things and the more I present myself in certain spaces, the more people have to challenge their own biases. And so I guess like being Black, being Muslim, and being a woman within the climate space is like definitely surprising for a lot of people, and also like a step in the right direction, because then if I can make space for myself, then I can make space for all the other young Black girls out there. My sister is 7, and she is supposed to graduate high school in 2030, which is like the cutoff date for when we have time to act. But knowing how young she is and how little time that we have, it's kind of scary because she has to grow up in this time of like urgency. Making sure that we all realize that everything that affects us isn't just us, and that it is the entire world, and there are millions of people that are being affected by something so massive right now, and understanding that just because you don't feel the effects doesn't mean that other people aren't. You know, I've grown up with the climate crisis my entire life, and so what I'm doing and what everybody else is doing actually is important. It needs to happen now because we have no time.